Hot off the presses, hot off the ships is a new Acoustasonic model from Fender. It might hit both the price point that everyone was really going for, a sweet spot, and also the aesthetic look. We'll tell you all about it, so stick around. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name is Chris McKee.
My name is Cooper Greenberg.
We're here with Alamo Music in San Antonio, Texas, and you can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to our channel, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos. If you want to support us, you can visit our spring store link below for custom swag, check out our podcast, and of course, buy from us at alamomusic.com. The Acoustasonic. It has been a kind of love it or hate it affair in the guitar community. I think a lot of people have adopted these and really enjoyed the versatility that they provide, and now it's available at a lower and probably, I think, ideal price point for someone who's wanting to, kind of forego the really fancy stuff that's on the American Acoustasonic, bypass the player version, and get down to a really good price point. This is the new standard.
Yeah.
And it is how much again?
$599.99.
Yeah. Hey, props to the marketing guy who came up with the 99 cents thing.
Yeah,
I heard someone in the store telling their significant other the other day about a guitar. It's like, it's only $500, and it's actually $599. But that's how it works, y'all. So this is actually only $500.
This is from a new series that Fender put out called What They Should Have Done to Start.
I agree. I think, the Acoustasonics we've covered on this video before. I think when the first American Acoustasonic Telecasters came out, they were a huge hit. And then eventually, as all things do, they kind of started to slow down. The Jazzmaster versions have been very popular. The Strat one was kind of weird because, one, I think that particular body shape, people were more put off by it generally.
Yeah.
And it also came out like right in the middle of a global pandemic. And so it really kind of hurt any of its response. But then they followed that up with a slightly too expensive for what it was, I think a lot of people felt, player version that stripped out some of the stuff that the American version had, gave you a lower price version made in Mexico with a gig bag, but it wasn't really that much lower priced.
Yeah.
This delivers kind of on that idea so that you can have it at a much lower price point.
Yeah. And I think when people are like, maybe that's not the right thing for me, I don't play things like that, or I'm not interested in a hybrid like this, when it comes down to $599, it's like, I might want to add one of those in. It changes the kind of mindset that I think something like this, which is not really an acoustic, not really electric, it's right in the middle, and it's got some interesting feel and functionality. Like, that's where it should be. It's just like Josh and I were talking about some of the Squire Paranormal stuff. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's funky stuff. You can get it at a pretty good price point to experiment and see what you like.
Yeah, someone might not spend, $1,800 for a Tornado, but, they might spend $400 or $500 for one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very good on that. There are two versions of this guitar, two body shapes. There's the Jazzmaster that we've got. There's also a Telecaster version. And kind of like the player version, it forgoes a lot of the fancy stuff, and I think adds something in that regard that some people prefer, which is a 9-volt battery instead of the rechargeable lithium-ion battery. I think some people really saw that as an asset on the American versions, and some people were like, I don't know that I trust that, or I trust myself to charge it.
Yeah, and we did get a lot checked into service saying that they didn't work and they just were not charged.
Yeah, so there you go. So give us the rundown on this particular version. Do you remember what this finish is called?
This is what I like to call, which I've just been calling this sunburst.
Nice.
I think it's
that's
something
classic.
else.
I think that's going to catch on.
They call it some kind of burst. I don't know what it is.
Some kind of burst.
But I'm calling this one sunburst.
Caramel burst.
There is a natural and an all black version. The black one looks really cool to me.
Well, and this one does something that I think they've probably listened to a lot of feedback.
Are you talking about that?
And gone with coloring the body. So, if you're familiar with the other two versions of it, you'd have the color in the middle, kind of a inlaid top type of deal, and then the rest of it was natural. And it was kind of a cool contrast, but I do get that it wasn't for everybody. And a lot of people were saying, all black worked better.
I much prefer the stained body. I think it looks really good. Also with the neck, kind of a nice, it's not a roasted neck, but it gives you the look of a roasted neck. I really dig that. I think it looks better. I think the knobs are obviously a little different and they look sharp. Now, the American Acoustasonic was a 5-way switch and an A-B tone knob that you could blend between the two voices, so you really had 10 distinct voices on that guitar and everything in between.
Yeah.
The Player Made in Mexico version was 3-way switch, also with that, and now this takes a little bit more after the highway kind of vibe, and it's got an electric sound and an acoustic sound. You got the Shawbucker, and then you got the transducer acoustic under saddle type thing. You can still blend them. It's not just a one or the other,
Right.
and you do get some interesting sounds in between, but it is a primarily electric sound that's very humbucker-esque, you know, because it's a humbucker. And you get a nice kind of transparent acoustic sound. Now, fingerboard, I was asking Chris if he knew what it was because I didn't look myself, and I'm a lazy guy. But Chris said Laurel. It's probably for
It
sure
should be Laurel.
something
It's
like
an
that.
import.
But it looks good.
If you didn't catch my comment about fresh off the boat, it is coming in from overseas, like the rest of the standard line. One of the things I'll say about it, we were talking about this off camera. The back with like the serial number on the back of that stock is etched into it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
In other words, what I'm trying to articulate is it is made overseas. There are parts of this guitar that seem more premium.
Yes. I will also say, looks-wise, I think it beats the other ones. I think just the overall look, it looks a little classier, which I like. And also, I don't think either of us, you can correct me if I'm wrong, we were never the right audience for the Acoustasonic guitars. It was never something that I was like, I need to add one of these.
Yeah, I really liked the Natural Telly when it first came out, and I could see the value in it. You know, where I'm at, and I remember saying in the video, my eldest son, who was still in high school at the time, he really wanted one. And I felt like there was a particular thing going on with a particular group of people that were, you know, Instagram guitar kind of watchers and doing everything in their bedrooms. And I understood the appeal from that standpoint. When I want to play electric, I generally play, like, hybrids for the most part don't serve me very, very well.
Yeah.
But I can see the value in having it sometimes.
Yeah.
So
I just think, one, it's extremely light. If you want a light guitar, this is the one for you. But I think with the more simple approach, it makes me like it more because with the other ones, you'd flip through a little book and be like, this is a rosewood dreadnought. This is a mahogany triple O. This is a, you know, there was a lot of different options. And when there's so many options, it becomes easier for me to all blend together, and they all kind of sound like I'm just switching the EQ up on the amp a little bit.
Or it's analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's a little much. I think it's really fun to mess around with those, and it's just like a multi-effects pedal. You know, it's like I want to hear what all this stuff sounds like, but for my personal use, I like something that's a little simpler. And I do think, which you'll see in the demo, we will explain how we mic'd it up. Very surprised with how good the acoustic sound came out of the setup that we had. So I kind of like you get an acoustic sound and you want to throw some lead on, you blend it 3/4 of the way over there. You don't lose the foundation that you had, but you get a little more push. I think it's cool. Now, how we mic this up, because we're definitely going to do another video on the Telly, and I think that we will see in the comments, but people will probably want to see some different comparisons and stuff like that. Josh had the idea of, we run it through the Blues Junior, like every other electric that we play through. He mic'd it up with 2 mics, SM57, WA47 Junior, so you got a dynamic and a condenser, get a nice image of what we got going on there, and then just run it through, no pedals or anything. One, see if you can hear a big difference between the acoustic and electric sound, but also, I do think for most people that are buying this, you're not running through a DI and a wet dry and all this other stuff.
Or AB and 2 amps
all this
and all
different
that stuff.
stuff.
Yeah.
So I do feel like it's a little bit closer to what the average person will be doing. If they buy this guitar for $599, they have an amp that they like at home, you're going to want to plug it in, know exactly how it's going to sound. We could set up DIs and a Fishman amp and a Fender amp and run through everything and give you all the sounds. This is just how it sounds. You're going to plug it in, and I think it will surprise you. So take a listen.
All right, so there you have it. So a few things on the guitar. Setup is great right out of the box.
Yeah.
I do like the simple approach. They do string these with acoustic strings. Keep that in mind. You could go electric strings. I find that if you go too light, it'll affect the undersaddle pickup. So keep that in mind.
This has 11s on it, right?
Yeah.
I think it's 11s.
Yeah, 11 acoustic. So if you went with like electric 10s, might be a little bit different. But playing around with the strings will probably change the sound coming from the humbucker, so I think there's a lot to do with that. Here's what's surprising to me on this, thinking about it. You were not a fan of the Highway guitars, which they introduced as thin, lightweight, stage-ready acoustic guitars after the Acoustasonic line, but that only did acoustic sounds and had more of an acoustic look, despite they were being thin body. This at $599 is doing that still, and giving you the electric tones. That makes more sense to me.
I think after years, they finally honed in on what should this product be. I feel like this is a really good place to land with it.
And I do get like one of the cool things on the American version is that body resonance thing, and if you want that particular type of response, that it does it really, really well in a very, very cool way. Outside of that, I think the simple approach of getting basically both an electric sound not as versatile of an electric sound as you would get in a T5, right? Or something like a Godin's, various hybrids, but a usable, great electric sound and an acoustic sound. You've got both to go. And so it does that very, very well at a low price. I think it could be someone's one guitar for a certain style of gig.
Yeah, bring it to your variety show gig that you're jamming with a cajon and a 6-string bass player, and you play every song in the world. Now, does not, just like the rest of the standard electrics, doesn't come with a bag or anything. You can get yourself a bag pretty cheap. One thing that I do appreciate, because I think fit and finish, right, it's really good.
It's really good.
I appreciate that it shipped. I took it out of the box and it was set up nicely, and it had a humidipack in there, which I think is cool, because you should do that.
Well, it's a solid top.
Solid top, and it is coming from a different part of the world.
It's a good couch guitar too.
Good couch
It's
guitar.
like got decent acoustic volume.
Yeah, I think it's cool. And if it were me and I was forced to buy an Acoustasonic, I get the standard. I'm excited to see the telly. I don't imagine that tonally it's going to be much different.
The electric should sound a little different if they follow the same style of pickup. That was the big thing. On the American ones, we liked the Telly and the Jazzmaster, and they sound different electrically. So I figured that will be the same thing.
Yeah. But I think the black one is cool, the natural one is cool. This is a nice burst, especially with how it kind of blends in better with the body. Mm-hmm. And it does look more premium to me, and it's half the price of the player. And, even more so from the American. I don't know where the prices are at, because I feel like they did some reductions on them. But the American was $2,000. The player was $1,200. This one's...
Everything's all over the place price-wise lately.
Yeah, so. Whatever. You like the guitar now. All right. But I do like the guitar. It's easy to play, and it sounded good coming straight out of the amp, which is really what matters. So.
Let me just tell everybody that is watching this that maybe doesn't know Cooper, for him to say he likes this guitar is high praise.
I wouldn't be caught dead playing it at a show. Just kidding. I do have 2 friends in town. One has the Jazzmaster. One has the Strat. They make them sound very good. And they're the American version. Yeah. And I go to their shows, and I'm like, can't believe this dude's... And then I hear it, I'm like, that sounds better than my rig. So they figured it out. But I also think you have 2 options here. You can do so much with EQ pedals and effects, and you really can, even if you are playing in a fully electric band and you're strumming chords or something, I do think the acoustic part does sound like an acoustic.
Well, with that being said, high praise indeed. If you'd like to add this to your collection, you can check it out on our website, which is
alamomusic.com.
You can purchase it right there, add it to cart, deal with financing, any of that. But if you have questions, reach out to us. You can click on the little bubble of Cooper's head that's floating there in the bottom right-hand corner and message us online. But you can also call, email, or come in, and we will help you. If this isn't the thing that suits your needs, you tell us what it is you're trying to accomplish. Trust me, with all of our years of experience, we can find the right guitar for you. If you're new to our channel, make sure to...
You're going to want to like the videos, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on, comment on them, and share with your friends.
There you go. We'll see you next time.